There are 54 crops in Stardew Valley. This video will show you exactly which crops you should care about to get rich. Before we even touch the crops, let's talk about crop enhancers. I am talking about fertilizers, retaining soil, and speed grow. You need to master these to master farming in this game. Retaining soil is simple. There are 3 options. Each of them has a chance for your crops to still be watered the next day. The truth of the matter here is that all of these suck, except for deluxe retaining soil. This is because it is just way too unreliable, while deluxe retaining soil has a 100% chance to keep your crops watered. Effectively meaning you never have to water that tile ever again. You can get the recipe for deluxe retaining soil by trading in 50 cinder shards at the desert trader on Ginger Island. This stuff is quite expensive to craft, but I mean, come on, it's kind of incredible. Fertilizers are quite similar to retaining soil. This will increase the quality of your crops, allowing you to harvest more gold and iridium quality crops. There are 3 options, and the first 2 are absolutely garbage. They just do not impact your crops enough for them to be worth it. You're most likely going to turn those crops into artisan goods anyway. However, deluxe fertilizer is the outlier if and only if you combine it with farmer's lunch. If you use deluxe fertilizer with the farmer's lunch, you will be given the privilege of harvesting iridium quality crops, and even better, 55% of all your crops will be iridium quality. Iridium quality crops are valuable. They're valuable enough to just sell as is without even needing to turn them into artisan goods. This is especially good on high value crops like sweet gem berries, starfruit, and even pumpkins. To get deluxe fertilizer, you will need to buy the recipe from Mr. Key's golden walnut shop for 20 key gems. And yes, these are extremely expensive to craft, so only use these on Ginger Island or in your greenhouse. Speed grow. This is still one of the best enhancers in the entire game. It reduces crop growth rate by a tiny bit. The bare minimum here is deluxe speed grow that causes crops to grow 25% faster. You can buy this stuff from Sandy on Thursday for only 80 gold each. That 25% might not sound like much, but it is huge for maximizing harvests within a single season. There is, however, an even better option. Hyper speed grow that causes crops to grow 33% faster. And you can buy the recipe for hyper speed grow from Mr. Key's golden walnut room for only 30 key gems. The moral of the story is, crop enhancers are only here to help you. Use the gosh darn things for your own personal benefit. Let's quickly go over the brand new crops from the 1.6 update, starting with carrots. Carrots are a new spring crop. Finding the seed isn't that reliable as you can't just buy the seeds from Pierre. However, they do only take 3 days to fully mature. Carrots are not good for profit, so don't even bother selling them. Instead, eat them for energy or feed them to your horse to make him run faster. The summer squash is the new summer crop, and once again, these seeds are hard to get. However, it takes 6 days to fully mature, and then it reproduces crops every 3 days. Again, these do not sell for much, but they're an easy way to get early game farming experience. Now for the fall crop, broccoli. Once again, and quite annoyingly, these seeds are hard to find and don't sell for much. They're just here to help with farming experience. They take 8 days to fully mature and regrow every 4 days. Lastly, we have powder melon. These are the new winter crop. Again, hard to get the seeds and don't sell for much. They take 7 days to fully mature, but these do not regrow. Fortunately, powder melons have one nice little secret. They can indeed turn into a giant crop. Speaking of giant crops, grow 3 melons, pumpkins, cauliflower, and now powder melons in a 3x3 grid for a chance to get a giant crop. If all of your crops are fully matured, you can just keep them watered and not harvest them. Every day that goes by is another chance for them to turn into giant crops. These do not die when the season changes, so you can indeed use these as decorations on your farm. However, if you need gold, you can chop these down with an axe to get bonus crops. Now wait, there is one more giant crop, the giant key fruit. This weird giant crop comes from planting key beans. The funny thing is that you can only get giant crops on your regular farm. Giant crops are impossible on Ginger Island, so you can only get this by planting key fruit on your farm and not on Ginger Island. Quite cool if you ask me. Alright, now for spring crops. If you are looking to actually profit from crops in spring, then rhubarb might be your best bet. You can only buy these seeds from Sandy at the Oasis, but these might be the best spring crop for profit. Strawberries are another strange spring crop where you can only get the seeds at the annual egg festival, meaning they're also not that reliable. I actually don't like strawberries at all. Imagine buying seeds and saving them for a whole year so you can plant them on the first day of spring. Am I playing wrong? Do you plant strawberries? Let me know in the the comments. Coffee is a great spring crop. Unfortunately, once again, the best way to get coffee seeds is by defeating dust sprites in the mines and finding a single seed, then slowly building up a coffee empire. Fortunately, coffee crops reproduce every 2 days and gives tons of coffee per harvest, and they grow in both spring and summer, so you can very quickly build up a literal coffee empire in no time. Drop 4 seeds into a keg to get drinkable coffee. Not great for profit, but amazing for speed. Good enough for me. If you have bee houses on your farm, grow blue jazz for your bees to create blue jazz honey. This is the most profitable honey that you can get in spring. Not quite as good as the other seasons, but not bad regardless. Otherwise, most of the spring crops are all kinda meh. Potatoes and kale are cheap, they grow fast, and they have decent profits. Kale gives you loads of experience, and potatoes have a chance to give you a bonus crop. That's all. Summer. Summer is my favorite season in this little video game. There are many reasons to love summer. Let's start with wheat. This stuff only takes 4 days to fully mature, can grow in both summer and fall, and the seeds only cost 10 gold each. When you harvest wheat, you will get wheat as well as hay. The only important thing here is beer. Drop that wheat into kegs to get beer. Beer sells for 280 gold. The seed costs 10 gold. You do the math, it's worth it. Then we have hops. They're just as gosh darn good as hay. Hops take 11 days to fully mature, and then they reproduce every single day. You can quickly amass tons of hops in no time. This is one of those perfect crops for speed grow. Anyway, drop hops into kegs to make pale ale. Each serving of pale ale will sell for 420 gold. The hop seed costs 60 gold and it reproduces. This makes pale ale just almost purely profit. It's stupid how good hops and wheat are. Okay, let's talk about starfruit. Starfruit are interesting. You can buy these seeds from Sandy for 400 gold each. Yeah, starfruit seeds are really expensive, but trust me, it's worth it. Starfruit take 14 days to fully mature. They do not reproduce, but since the seeds are so expensive, the wine sells for a ridiculous amount of gold. Starfruit wine is the single best wine in the entire game, and it's the only wine that I would ever consider aging in casks in your basement. Regular quality starfruit wine sells for 3,150 gold each. Iridium quality starfruit wine sells for 6,300 gold. Setting up a starfruit empire is expensive and slow. However, it is always worth it. If you do not have kegs yet, which you might not in your first year, then melons and blueberries are the best bet in summer. Melons take 12 days to grow and they will sell for a decent amount of gold. They're solid. Blueberries take a very long 13 days to fully mature, but then they will reproduce every 4 days, and each harvest will get you 3 blueberries. These are excellent for profits if you're not turning your crops into artisan goods. Now for flower honey. There are 3 options here: sunflowers, summer spangles, and poppies. Poppies are going to give you flower honey that sells for 540 gold each. Not bad. Fall is the king of honey, but poppy honey is not bad at all. It's time for fall. Fall is a great season. It's not as amazing as summer, however it's still pretty gosh darn good. Naturally, wheat grows in fall, so if you want to continue growing wheat and making beer, you can. This is a very reliable, consistent source of money. Otherwise, there are 2 viable options to grow in fall: cranberries and pumpkins. Use cranberries if you do not have many kegs or preserve jars. This is because cranberry seeds only take 7 days to fully mature, and then every 5 days you will get 2 cranberries. You will have so many crops from this. Otherwise, plant pumpkins. Pumpkins take a very standard 12 days to fully mature, and they do not regrow. Pumpkins have a very high sell price when compared to your average crop, and if you turn these pumpkins into juice using kegs, you'll get 1,000 gold per pumpkin. It is important to note that dropping pumpkins into preserve jars will get you pickled pumpkins, and these sell for 966 gold, which is very similar to the kegs. It's just a little quicker. Pumpkins are not bad. It's not starfruit insanely incredible, however it's not bad. Pumpkins are great in fall. Sweet gemberries are interesting, right? Head to the traveling merchant during spring and summer and you can buy these seeds for 1,000 gold each. This rare seed is actually a sweet gemberry seed. These can only be planted in fall and they take a crazy 24 days to fully mature. These crops sell for between 3 and 6,000 gold and they cannot be processed into artisan goods. These are really bad for profit. They're only good if you have tons of seeds and slowly create a huge stockpile of seeds using seed makers. Okay, honey. Fall is the absolute king of honey. Fairy rose honey sells for over 950 gold each. And honey is reproduced every 4 days. In my opinion, you can skip honey for every season as long as you do not miss fairy rose honey in fall. It really is that good. Ancient fruit get their own entire section because they are that good. Listen, there are two ways to reliably get an ancient fruit seed. First, from defeating tons of bugs in the mines, and from dropping tons of crops into seed makers and hoping that one turns into an ancient fruit seed. This means that we need to slowly grow the crop and drop them into seed makers to truly have an ancient fruit empire. This is easier said than done, as the damn crop takes 28 days to fully mature and then reproduces every 7 days. Fortunately, it does grow in spring, summer and fall. However, the fact that it dies in winter is good enough reason for me to never plant these on my farm. Always grow ancient fruit in the greenhouse or on your Ginger Island farm. These spots have no seasons, so the ancient fruit will grow forever without any risk of dying. Okay, so why do we care about this slow crop where the seeds are hard to get? Well, drop those fruit into kegs and make 2,300 gold per crop. Think about it. They reproduce every 7 days. They will last forever on Ginger Island and in your greenhouse. So every 7 days you can drop 10, 20 or even hundreds of ancient fruit into kegs. This is the most reliable way to get rich in the game. You absolutely need ancient fruit on your farm. That is the only lesson that you actually need to learn from this video. Now that you know which crops to grow, watch this video so you know which fish to use in your fish ponds for maximum profit. Thanks for watching, but for now, I will see you in the next video.